spotless summer picture in the Pacific Northwest. We invite you to One Spokane Stadium, where tonight USL League One season lands on a Wednesday in Washington with a busy fixture. Spokane Velocity stalling and searching for a reminder of themselves, brought together with a bright-eyed Westchester SC, hotly after what would be a club best third consecutive league victory. Howdy folks, I'm Peyton Kelleher. This is your table. Spokane Velocity harshly coming to the reality of what the last couple of weeks have meant as they have fallen from the top of the table down to 8th, and that has come amidst what has been a tumultuous time for the team. 3 consecutive league losses, the longest such streak for the team in 48 matches competitively played in USL League One, dating all the way back to when they lost 5 in a row just before they made that playoff run all the way to the final in 2024 for a squad that has been back-to-back runners-up in this division. They will have higher expectations of themselves, taking their first home loss of the season last time out to 1 Knox by the largest margin they have ever lost by at home. As for Westchester, it has been a tale of an opposite direction of travel for them. Back-to-back wins. Second time this year that has been the reality, and they have scored from all over the pitch. As we get a look at exactly how that is shaped up for the road side today, 9 goals over the last 2 matches, and in those 180 minutes, Westchester SC has scored as many goals as any team in the history of USL League One. No team has scored more over the last 3 seasons in a 2-match set of games. Westchester have yet to win on the road, though, this year. They will eye that opportunity against one of the league's most resolute squads when we return. We set to step aside. Kickoff is soonly approaching here in Spokane at Spokane Velocity and Westchester SC on a gleaming summer day in the state of Washington. It all kicks off when we return. Lineups and kickoff are up next.
At Eastern Washington University, students and faculty work side by side to restore a lost prairie and decrease our carbon footprint. Composers are writing music to help us understand how salmon migrate. And urban and regional planning students partner with cities to gather the data they need to address homelessness. Interdisciplinary education that gets real about the real world. That's Eastern Washington University and you.
I'm a real wild one. Once in a while, we all want to go wild. We just need a little help. Meet a little help. The 2024 Ford Bronco Sport Wild Edition goes over any terrain, so you can go all out. Get a wild deal on a Bronco Sport today. Lease a Bronco Sport Wild Edition for $339 a month for 36 months, or purchase with $3.9 for 36 and get $2,000 wild bonus cash.
All about to pop off. You're in Spokane at Spokane Velocity. It's Westchester SC. It's a Wednesday night in the USL League One. Once more, Peyton Kelleher here to bring you all the breadth and width, the color that is to come in this collision of sides from opposite coast. Starting off with the lineup for the home side at Spokane Velocity. This lineup is brought to you by Spokane Tribe Resort and Casino. And for Lee Viedman, the 4-2-3-1 is the preferred shape. Plenty of key contributors in this squad from years past. You look at players like Andre Lewis and Louis Hill, who so often have been the marquee men for the Spokane side as they try and get out of a sticky stretch of games which they have lost. Again, 3 consecutive for the first time in 48 games dating back to their inaugural season in 2024. As for Westchester and George Jokai, everything has been going right for them. Only a couple of alterations from the lineup that came out last time and laid 5 at the feet of Portland Hearts of Pine. Bobby Pierre back in the starting 11 today on the backside of the back 3. On the right side, and look out for Daniel Bauman, has been in the spotlight, transitioning out of midfield into the back 3. His offering there has helped accelerate things in the stability front for Westchester, a team that have conceded a bunch of goals throughout the course of the campaign. That has slided a little bit these last couple of fixtures, and they will hope to make that a trend heading into this contest against what will be spiky opposition in the form of Spokane Velocity. Everybody has filed into the ground, and center official Mohamed Hassan will send us on our merry way. And it's live. Spokane Velocity, Westchester SC. Both these sides in dire need of all 3 points. Westchester to keep the momentum going, make it a club best 3 consecutive victories on the spin. Spokane needing to find the beat again in a season that has quickly slipped away from them a little bit. They're challenging at the top of the table in the early going. These 3 games in which they've been unable to pocket points have seen them right above the playoff line and kind of doggy paddling to stay afloat in a season that has tested them in multiple directions. It will be an interesting tactical battle. Both sides deploying distinct modes and means of how they try and approach the game. Westchester like to be front-footed, they like to be vibrant, fluid, and encourage players to take risks, express themselves. They are finding confidence in that demeanor. Dashed away from the back by Spokane, who are in the black. Westchester in the white on the road, and clattering tackle ushered in by Nico Brett will bring us to our first foul call of the game. Charlie Dickerson going down. At the feet of goalkeeper Luca Marinelli, who remains as the starter, as Andrew Hammersley is coming back in from injury. Marinelli signed in mid-flow this season on a 25-day contract, now making his 7th start of the year. Tyus Molina, Andrew Hammersley, both getting injured in that first stretch of games for Westchester. He's acquitted himself quite well. 17 saves, 1 clean sheet. Last game against Portland, Marinelli had a season-high 5 saves as he watches on. Westchester wing out into the attack again. We'll have a throw and a chance for us to examine our keys to the game presented by Ford as Spokane have a tall challenge in front of them. Westchester are so good manufacturing overloaded situations in dangerous areas, sneaking players into uncomfortable places. And they do that, Westchester, by bringing the wingbacks into the game, specifically Jonathan Jimenez. Will have a lot of freedom out there at the flank. Had a brace last time out against Portland Hearts of Pine. Loose ball in the area, slapped away. Tough spot there and dispossessed to Dickerson. Brett's in behind, the flag is gonna pop up. That is a wasted opportunity from Spokane Velocity. Luis Heel was off to the races, and Nico Brett all he had to do was pace the run. He was all by his lonesome. It would have been eye to eye with the goalkeeper. Westchester turned the dial the opposite direction straight away. Playing with no hesitancy, weightless efforts, as it's gonna trickle in. It's an error from Sean Lewis that sends Westchester not 5 minutes into the game exactly where they want to be. Popped in by Miguel Diaz. He scored last game against Portland. He scored the game before that against Greenville. He makes it 3 on the beat as he hesitates not a single moment to give it a pop and put Westchester a goal to the good. And for one of the league's all-time best keeper, Sean Lewis should be doing better there. He conceded Sean Lewis 4 goals against 1 Knox. That's the most he's ever allowed in a game. And it came against his former team. So to make an error on that moment in which he will have been telling himself that is a totally savable shot, you just wonder about where that leaves him and his resolve. Going off a season in which he posted a career best 12 clean sheets for 1 Knoxville, helping them to win what was their first piece of silverware, hoist the League One title against this very same Spokane Velocity. He might have more work landing in his lap soon. Maximus Jennings rolled in top of the area again. And this time it is just about scraped up by Lewis. You see the buoyant confidence that is flowing throughout this Westchester side, though. It is unmistakable the kind of posture and charisma they're playing with now. This was a slip, and off to the races, it's Andre Lewis. Lewis cutting in, trying to get it back. Lewis, left wide. It is a head-spinning start here in Spokane, and a chance to change it right back goes a-begging. It was a slip at the start by Charlie Dickerson. Allowed, I beg your pardon, it was actually Meji Alexander who popped up in a precarious place. Could not connect, though. Spokane compelled to at least grab some custody of the ball, take the sting out of the game, as Westchester have fire in their eyes after the early go-ahead, having seen the ball hit the back of the net as often as they have these last couple of matches. Again, 9 goals over the last 2 games. That's the most jointly in the history of League One over the course of 180 minutes. You can make it 10 in 3 for them now, which make this month of June their joint highest scoring month ever as a club, now in their 2nd campaign. They have something to defend. Searching down the wide side, Spokane. Snaking dribble towards the top of the area. Siobhan John Brown. Simon Fitch on the twist. Finds a way to get across in it. Lands off the midriff of Nico Bratt. And it's going to be a goal kick. Tonight's injury report is brought to you by Kinetic Chiropractic, a modern approach to chiropractic care. Westchester, no injuries reported beyond the long-term absences of players like Rashid Tete. It is a handful of players unavailable for Spokane. Anwar Playa is still down, nursing an injury that's kept him out for some weeks. As well as Lucky Oprah, been such a mainstay at fullback for this Velocity outfit last 2 years. But it is a Spokane team that's built with a high degree of depth. Suitable options to replace those familiar faces are abundant. You would have to, just looking at the team sheet and the accolades that the players picked by Lee Viedman here today, say to yourself that this would be a first choice 11 for basically any team in the league. That's left wide, and it will be a goal kick. So how does Spokane respond, having conceded those 4 goals to 1 Knox last time out, and hurting for confidence, having lost 3 consecutive games? They have the conditions of this tie very clearly stated to them. They're going to have to pick their heads up and dig their way out. They've been productive, despite having not scored in the last 2 matches, Spokane. Over the course of Those two contests, 61 box touches, 31 shots. Reality is, though, of those 31 shots, only 4 landed on target. That efficiency is what will be required at the cutting edge. It's Gagi. Siobhan John Brown in from deep. Louise Heel off a flick. Nico Brett in search of it. Dug out from underneath him. Lewis has lost it. Now a shot from range will shuttle high. Derek Waldeck sniffing some space at the top of the area. Gave it a rip. It just all opened up so quickly. There's Waldeck. What's seeking what would have been a worldie of a goal. Back down the other way, though, it's Max Jennings, who is unable to circumvent Waldeck on the defensive side. Spokane steaming ahead into the final third again. Siobhan John Brown will arrive in time to get the cutback in and win a corner. Corner kicks presented by ICCU, the Financial Success Fan Club. And it's a chance for Spokane to get it right back. Westchester are one of only 2 teams in the division yet to concede a headed goal. Of course, that's not the only means by which a team can score from a corner, but aerial defending is worth noting. Slashed in. It's loose in the area still. Just failing to recover it. Looks like Gagi down in there. Sean Lewis will come to reclaim it for Spokane. Westchester are not a team that like to forfeit the ball to extreme degrees, but being bowled back more and more as the dust settles following their go-ahead goal. Just now joining us, Miguel Diaz, the author of that. Long-range effort that smacked against the palm of Sean Lewis, and the goalkeeper unable to put enough of a firm hand to it to keep it out. Enter the Prinkstars USL Cup Game Day Kit Sweepstakes for your chance to win a prize. Pack worth up to $2,000. Scan the QR code on your screen to enter today. Now, if there is any good news for Spokane, Westchester have conceded 12 first-half goals this year. That's the second most in USL League One. There's about a half hour for Washingtonians to maybe get themselves back to level ground in that period of play. Andre Lewis. Lewis did score against Westchester last year. Maneuver to the near side for Derek Waldeck, who plays a punchy pass in for Nico Brett, who can't get the wrangle of it. McGlynn plowing to the wide side, bringing in Jimenez. Top of the box, a drifting ball to the back post, headed cross frame, and wisely nodded back by Gagi to Sean Lewis. Well-fashioned passage of play from Westchester to go back to front. Been end-to-end, and both teams have had bright ideas on the attacking side. Coming off the back of that defeat to 1 Knox. It was good to catch up with Lee Wiedemann and just kind of get the pulse out of this match. Where the club was and how the squad was responding to some pretty uncommon adversity for how this team has operated in their first 2 years in the USL League One Spokane. Said that the response has been good. It took them a second to sit with what had happened to them in that Knoxville game, trying to get some vengeance for the team that ended their season so close to their ultimate objective in that final. We did feel Lee Wiedemann did, like Spokane, had one of their best matchday -1 sessions of the year. Optimistic about this opportunity to wash that bad taste out of their mouth. They've played with some conviction after falling behind. Siobhan John Brown. It's a stabbing, snapping effort from Louise Heel, but nothing that will fully take. Wedging ball in for Nico Brett, who lifts one a little bit bitelessly, maybe took a deflection off of Charlie Dickerson. Spokane go it again. A little bit loose there at the back. Driving out of the tight spot was Fernandez, and now it's in. Swept in for Nico Brett, who needles it wide. Lost his footing in the end and left it off the mark. Player in the form of Brett that's not scored in 7 league games, and for a man of his marksmanship, who will be shaking his head at the finish. Just in a matter of closing that 7-game period for Brett. It's the longest run with Spokane, and he's not found a goal since his first 9 games with the club last year. Knocked down in the center. Fernandez thumping another long ball. That's been a trend so far. Something that clearly Lee Wiedemann and his staff have maybe identified as a pressure point they can press. There's already the 18th long ball of the game for Spokane. Just to clarify exactly what that means from the statistical accounting perspective, that's any pass that travels over 40 yards. Westchester working through the gears. That is the nature of this 3-4-3 for George Yokai. There's always somewhere to pass the ball to. Up to the players on the pitch to find what that outlet might be. But it, because of how the geometry works out, gives them a pretty natural way to climb the ladder at all times, as long as their players are tight in possession. Connor McGlynn. McGlynn enjoying what is becoming a starlit season for him. 27-year-old, already with 8 goals in the league, had a brace against Portland. Goals in the last 3 matches, now 4 of them total. Prior to this year, in his long-serving USL career, most notably at the USL Championship with Hartford, McGlynn only ever scored 5 in a campaign. If he gets one today, he will have scored 5 goals in the last 4 matches. He's got defensive work in front of him right now, though. Andre Lewis. Spokane with ingenuity, mustering towards the edge of the area again. On Fernandez, funneling for Waldeck. It was a useful ball on the floor. Nico Brett just gets a nibble. This is testing the will a little bit of Westchester, backed in. On the twists, a bursting run from Reggie Alexandre, and he's caught a little bit too much cloth of it. Looked like Maximus Jennings there. Rolling over the touchline for a throw. Scan now and you will win one of 20 unique restaurant discounts. Thank you, Caruso's, The Burger Dock, Flat Stick Pub, Casa Tap House, Conala, People's Waffle, and Method Juice Cafe. I can tell you there's an appetite for offense for Spokane. Still reaching out for that leveling goal amidst mounting pressure. Free ball at the top of the box. Missing out is Andre Lewis, but takes a deflection. As Westchester were trying to work out of their own end. It's maintained by the home side. It's Gagi. Now Simon Fitch in chorus. Yet to see the first real examination of Westchester goalkeeper Luca Marinelli. Roadside happy to allow Spokane to knock it around. Worthwhile and notable point as Westchester are in the ascendancy and have a real chance with what they've done already to potentially claim all 3 points. Currently in the midst of what is the longest ever in USL League One recorded history. Away winless drought. They have not found all 3 points on the road in 14 consecutive games dating back to last year. It's actually their first goal in their last 5 games on the road. What came earlier today. And if they don't allow any on the other end, it will be enough to end that drought. Nico Brett holding up. It's fumbled away. And foul is called. The Spokane big man in the middle. Spokane wanted to go quickly with the throw. Nico Brett was heads up with his back to goal. Not sure if they got him or Reggie Alexandre. Both were involved in plenty of contact. Alexandre, player that's starting to break out a little bit this year, on loan from Charleston Battery, had been in MLS Next Pro the last couple of seasons. 27 appearances for Sporting Kansas City 2 a year ago. 8 goals. 3 consecutive full 90s for him now after only 1 prior to this point. But averaging 6 box touches and 2.3 chances created in that stretch. In the words of his manager, player that at this point has all the ability and is maybe just trying to figure out how to listen to the game and understand what it's asking of him in terms of the tempo and the shrewd kind of movements that separate the players that have talent and the players that make a big impact. Sean Lewis. Away they go again, Spokane. You see Westchester maybe creeping that line a little bit forward. Could be something to keep an eye on, as George Jokai has quite clearly understood that Spokane are trying to get in behind and are going a little bit more direct. It's a gambit. Don't get that wrong. But just a little peek at the Ant Farm view of what is an emerging tactical battle between 2 of the league's sharpest minds. Spokane, one of the oldest teams in the league. In fact, they have played the oldest average age of lineup adjusted per minute this year. Ball in. One of those old vets had a clear side of target and has missed out again. Nico Brett. He never misses these. He was free and clear and ready to make it 1-1 and just caught the header on the way down. Talking about USL Championship's second all-time leading goal scorer, leaving meat on the bone like that. Spokane will be racking their brains for how they've not come up with the equalizer there. Westchester refusing the press. Guggy all the way in the attacking half, the center back off the chest of Nico Brett. Can't make it stick. Windermere Foundation is thrilled to welcome our charity of the month. It's more than a home, it's a way to give back. Please visit our site at www.windermerefoundation.com. Loose ball in the middle, but the referee has seen something he doesn't like, and there is a player down. Again, our center official today is Mohammed Hassan, and it's Gaggi who's ailing. Big Georgian center back struggling down on the pitch. Spokane are somewhat spoiled for choice at this central defense position, and we'll get a chance to look at exactly what transpired. Swung the leg in and maybe caught something on the chops as a bit of reprisal, unintentional of course. The goal scorer, Miguel Diaz. But just in seeing Gaggi struggle, Lee Wiedemann does have plenty of options for players that could replace him in the stable. Nick Spielman is a decorated defender at this level. Saw Ibrahim Covey come on as a tactical alteration. Spokane playing a back three. 2-0 down coming out of halftime against One Knox. That didn't go very well. Don't think that had anything to do with Covey, and more so to do with how One Knoxville decided to exploit that shape from Spokane. That was something that Lee Wiedemann was happy to answer regarding where his center backs are and what their preferred tandem is, and he didn't really leave much to the imagination. He said Gaggi, Cameron Miller are his two guys when available. So it is a pleasant scene to see that Gaggi is back on his feet and seems to have his wits about him. It is a sweltering day here in Spokane, so these teams getting the chance to get a little bit of hydration, get out of the sun and into the shade for a moment as it sets here in the state of Washington. .6 p.m. local time kickoff. Gaggi just wants to get on with it. Started 5 of the last 6 games, has surpassed 60 touches in all of those. The big Georgian coming in from Oakland roots, actually scored against Spokane last year in the USL League Cup. Ball into the gap, and it's caught up by Cameron Miller. Shepherded out of touch for a throw in to come. Tossed in and given away. McGlynn, nowhere to go with it. That's a dangerous ball backward by Andre Lewis. He We'll have a chance to advance out of the back. Another faulty touch. And in for Sean Lewis. Maintains and pushes ahead for Waldeck. A lot of space there in the middle now. Prying at the seam, Spokane. Fernandez flipping the field. Siobhan John Brown tall enough to keep it on. He's only 5'8", so you applaud the effort. Rolled wide again. Siobhan John Brown. It lands for Nico Bretz, who has bursted in and banged it wide again. That is the third real chance belonging to that man that has failed to find a signature. All he had to do was take a touch and deliver it. Don't think he realized how much space he had as he twisted free of his marker. Waldeck won't let it go. Engaged with Max Jennings. Pretty clever, shrewd work on the ball from him. Now Meji Alexandre. The defender had had enough. Alexandre, Waldeck in from deep. Spare man on the far side fighting the sun is Siobhan John Brown. A glistening chest touch and into a pocket for Andre Lewis, who sees the run at the end line. Brave block from Bobby Pierre. That looked like it was going to be harm. And it's a corner kick to come. One of the best moves of the game so far is Simon Fitch. Sliced away. Andre Lewis just took that peek up. And Fitch had not hesitated to burst in behind. This is an ICCU corner kick, your financial success fan club. And Spokane on the side that need to profit down the goal. It came not 3 minutes in by the hand of Miguel Diaz of Westchester. That's a useful ball. And it's just finger-tipped away. Luca Marinelli able to poke it off the point. So they'll try it again from a different angle. Westchester have endured 5 shots, but only one of them has required a save. Spokane needing efficiency, a clinical edge. Goalkeeper lost it in the sun for a moment. Enough time to collect himself and apply the knuckle. Well, that's a careless giveaway, and Westchester fan out. Flying forward. A long busting run to get back in front of it by Louis Heel. That is brilliant. The captain cuts it off as alarm bells were sounding at full voice. He's not started in 2 of the last 3 games, including last match. But that is the kind of perception and awareness that he can offer. Player that 2 times has represented the U.S. men's senior national team. They did something pretty good in the state of Washington only a couple days ago. Excited for what they might do for an encore against Turkey tomorrow. A bounding ball that hops over the laces of Meji Alexandre. That's a let-off for Westchester. Turn to CBS Sports Network on Wednesday, July 1st for a USL League One showdown. Spokane Velocity hoping to speed past the formidable Flamingos of Forward Madison FC at 9 p.m. Eastern. Catch all the action on the CBS Sports Network. Big moment for Spokane. They would like to carry a little bit more imperative, some swagger into that game. Would require a comeback effort against this Westchester bunch. Something that Spokane did last year on this field, fell behind what was a showcase game on CBS Sports Network. Westchester can compound their advantage here, though. Get a little bit of distance between themselves and their opponent. Ball across. It's headed off at the near post by Sean Lewis. He rolls it out. And seeking space again, or Spokane. Reading the play quite well there, Luca Marinelli. Nico Brett was threatening again. Miller maneuvering to the wide side. It's Gagi. All-deck infield, something he has the capacity for, can play that kind of inverted role if required, and Spokane are just trying to figure out exactly what combination might pick this lock. Well, that's a good ball. Well spotted by Andre Lewis. Nico Brett was marauding into a soft spot, but it's clawed away by Bobby Pierre. Just tangoing by that first attempted tackle, Andre Lewis, who, with increasing confidence, is starting to lay some fingerprints on the match. Luis Heel never fully got purchased there. Westchester with work to do. Heading it towards the touchline and out for a throw. Soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets, more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek. And a ball into the box for Nico Brett. He wriggles away, and he nearly takes his own head off. Flames of frustration emanating from the #9 of Spokane. This time, I don't think he'll be thinking to himself he should have done better per se. The first touch let him down a little bit, just not setting up the shot. You wonder if he's more confident in his finishing abilities if he doesn't just take that first time on the right foot. Nonetheless, it's an ICCU corner kick, and it comes in across the 6, knotted off course. Off the half volley! And skewed wide. It's Colin Fernandez who misses out. Player that heading into today has been long-standing without a goal. Just slashed at it, couldn't get it to dip. It has been well over 1,500 days since Colin Fernandez felt the ball ripple in the back of the net. All the way back to when he was with Sporting Kansas City, too, in 2022. He has been in fine form, though. Went the full 90 last match. The third time he had done that all year, Colin Fernandez. Started all 6 of the last 6 games in the USL League One. What was his team-leading 10th shot from outside the box, about the closest Spokane have come. Waldak in combination with Mechi Alexandre. That's deftly played into a dangerous area. Nico Brett laid off, free run, Spokane, 1-1. His name is Andre Lewis. He scored against the New Yorkers a year ago, and he takes full aim on a gilded chance to level the tie. First goal of the year. The marauding midfielder makes his presence known. Nico Brett has struggled to find the mark. So in this instance, he takes the opportunity to play provider. Just a sly slip ball. Caught everybody flat-footed, and Andre Lewis pounds it through. That's what they needed. And after having hung on to what was an increasingly slippery ledge, Westchester finally do give way. Game's different now. Westchester will always get flashbacks to that gruesome number a year ago, the 38 points that they dropped from winning positions. As mentioned earlier, did that against Spokane in this venue. That is the most in the history of USL League One, that figure from 2025 by 16 points. Completely remade Westchester team this year with a new coach and George Yokai and a new vision. That will be tested at this point. After all the good momentum that they had coming into this game and the flashpoint start, they're forced to come up with a rebuttal and try to do that straight away. Reaching out from their own end amidst several defensive bodies for Spokane. It was Alexi Armas who lost out on the ball despite his best effort. Siobhan John Brown now. Slickly by the first tackle, but not the second. Bobby Pierre sticks in and wins. Oh, and there is a contest for the ball and who it belongs to. Bobby Pierre thought that his side had ownership. That was not the case, and used all of his 6'2" frame to keep the ball away from the 5'8" Siobhan John Brown. And further conversation required. Mohamed Hassan, I think, very clearly stating the gamesmanship is not appreciated, although it's a slap on the wrist. Any more indiscretions like that, and the name likely to be taken. Probing away again are Spokane. Left a little bit too narrow and cut clear by Max Jennings. Elite minds, unlock your mind, unlock your game. Visit our website today. The imperative belonging in full with Spokane. They've got a firm grasp on the game now. Got it by the scruff of the neck. Having just found the equalizer and looking to go ahead, Siobhan John Brown. Nothing more than a faint waft of a chance. It was Louis Heel that was meddling in an unwelcome place for Westchester. Andre Lewis putting his side back on even balance moments ago. Spokane see a future in which they might have the lead come at halftime. Reggie Alexandre with bounce in his step infield. Spawning the spearman again, Siobhan John Brown. He left it shy of interluding Simon Fitch, but he's got it back. Colin Fernandez. It's a pretty pass, at least an idea of one, but overhit. Goal kick. That goal kick will be taken with a Select ball, and Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. Grassroots to the pros, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com. Well, there's Select products, specials, and more. Select is the player's choice. Out over the end line for a goal kick. Play proceeds. Win big at Spokane's favorite casino, Spokane Tribe Resort and Casino, located in Airway Heights. %, the lion's share of the ball, residing with Spokane, who have continued to press on after finding the leveler. 8 shots for the home side compared to only 2 road team, one of which came inside the first 5 minutes when Miguel Diaz, on a bit of fortune, found the back of the net, bursting beyond the reach of Meji Alexandre. Lumberbeard Brewing is proud to be the preferred craft brewery partner for USL Spokane. Visit our downtown tasting room for expertly brewed craft beer and food at 25 East 3rd Ave. Open 7 days a week. Sharp back heel there to keep the ball from Daniel Burko. Haven't called his name much so far this game. Nonetheless, it results in little to no progress toward the attacking end for Westchester. '23 first half box touches for Spokane Velocity. On that kind of trend line, they could be eyeing what would be league record figures by the end of the day. One of their most convincing performances in the last month and change in this first half, despite allowing that early goal. The response has almost been more uplifting than what it would be if they just marched into the game and took it over. Lee Wiedman will applaud the kind of character his squad are showing right now. Clean bit of interplay, and Westchester work back in numbers to win the ball. Just need to take some of the air out of the game as we are into 3 minutes of stoppage time, presented by Coeur d'Alene Casino Resort and Hotel. Racing into the attack. They started the half with a goal. Will they end it with one? Alexi Armas going straight away, and it's fumbled by Sean Lewis. Fighting the shadows against the sun. Stretching out and leaving it over the end line for what could be a costly corner kick. Colin Fernandez claiming that he received a smack as play proceeded forward. Armas cutting clear of him. Westchester have scored on 4 corners this year. It's the joint 3rd highest mark in the league, and the only reason they're really chasing anybody is because of what Ford and Madison have done. I believe that total is now 7 or 8 for the Flamingos. Nonetheless, this is one of the most lethal dead ball sides in the division. They will be sharpening their blade. Alexi Armas, the one holding it high. The final minute of what was allotted for this first half. This is the first corner of the game for Westchester. High into the back post, knocked back across the goal mouth, and this time Sean Lewis will not leave anything to chance. Clean catch in the traffic. Fouled anyway. Sent skyward, knocked down. Westchester can't charter a path out of their own half. Moldak washing forward for one last charge in the half for Spokane. Meji Alexandre, beautiful ball. Unable to be summoned by Luis Heel. Arrived on the scene. Now there's pushing and shoving and some sparks flying. Again, Miguel Diaz involved. A bit of a scuffle. Hazard to guess that might be the last interaction of the period. Tension's fraying a bit here at the finish line in the first 45. (1-1). A goal in the 3rd minute, a goal in the 40th. We find ourselves nose to nose here in Spokane. Westchester allowed to punch one into the attacking half one more time. The referee has stopped play. It hit hard off the head. Tim Timchenko. Didn't look like a player caught him though. Maybe a high boot from Nico Brett. And we're still moving. Well beyond what was initially scribbled down for stoppage time. Max Jennings pacing away to the end line. Miguel Diaz muscling in. Hooked out. Throw in to come. The referee still isn't even looking at his watch. And now he blows. And scene. The sun sets on the first half in Spokane. The Velocity forced to climb back into the game. A call that they answered in kinds. Westchester got the early goal. Couldn't protect the high ground that they had hard won. And Spokane will be speeding into the second frame with every intention on coming from behind and getting all 3 points. It was Miguel Diaz who broke the guard of Sean Lewis and sent Westchester a goal to the good, pegged back. After mounting pressure finally burst the pipe, Nico Brett sets up Andre Lewis. And we are level at the intermission.
It's true that a Windermere agent's client decided to experiment with power washing their deck a day before the house was supposed to go on the market. It's true that he may have accidentally destroyed said deck. Now, you might wonder, how did that deck get torn out, replaced, and stained in one day, in time for the listing to go live the next morning? We'll never tell.
At Eastern Washington University, students and faculty work side by side to restore a lost prairie and decrease our carbon footprint. Composers are writing music to help us understand how salmon migrate. And urban and regional planning students partner with cities to gather the data they need to address homelessness. Interdisciplinary education that gets real about the real world. That's Eastern Washington University and you.
I'm a real wild one. Once in a while, we all want to go wild. We just need a little help. Meet a little help. The 2024 Ford Bronco Sport Wild Edition goes over any terrain, so you can go all out. Get a wild deal on a Bronco Sport today. Lease a Bronco Sport Wild Edition for $339 a month for 36 months, or purchase with 3.9 for 36 and get $2,000 wild bonus cash.
Back at the break, the curtain falls on the first 45 here in Spokane, 1-1 between Spokane Velocity and Westchester SC. As we move on towards our halftime coverage, good time to tell you that scan now. You will win one of 20 unique restaurant discounts. Thank you, Caruso's, The Burger Dock, Flatstick Pub, Casa Tap House, Conalla People's Waffle, and Method Juice Cafe. An opportunity to check in with Carlos Llamosa as the San Antonio FC head coach shares his stories with the U.S. men's national team in 2002. But before we can do that, we'll take a look at who's posted their name in the Team of the Week in the USL League One. A couple of Westchester players making an impact. Jonathan Jimenez with those goals in the last game against Portland Hearts of Pine lands in that squad alongside his midfielder in chief, Connor McGlynn, who scored a pair of goals in that game as well. Ian Fuller, the coach of the week for what he got hit out of his one Knoxville team. This very same venue against Spokane. Now we get a chance to visit with Carlos Llamosa as he regales his time with the men's national team in 2002. Take a look.
In the middle of the 2026 World Cup, Carlos Lamosa is focused on something else. The head coach of San Antonio FC is navigating his club through the midway point of the USL Championship season. But nearly a quarter century ago, the World Cup was Lamosa's dream come true.
Well, that was a unique experience for many reasons. First, that was the first World Cup of the century. That was the first time the World Cup happens in two different countries. And that was the first time that happens in Asia.
The 2002 World Cup is to date the best performance by the U.S. men's national team. A stunning victory over Portugal in the group stage. A shutout of arch rival Mexico in the round of 16, with South Korea's 13-hour time difference to U.S. Eastern Time. Americans had to be creative for live overnight matches. Bars were open at 4 in the morning making breakfast for your matches. Were you aware of all of that at the time?
We found out being there in Korea. They show us videos of footage from TV networks, having a watching party at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Also for me, I have Colombian news going to my parents' house in Colombia in the middle of the night to do interviews when we were playing live.
In 2026, the World Cup includes more than 40 players whose careers were touched by different levels of USL. Lamosa now has a seat to watching players chase their own World Cup dreams.
Here from our academy from San Antonio, we have a player representing the U.S. on the U17 qualifier. That's a very important league in the U.S. soccer developmental program.
Spokane opens the scoring. Carmichael volleys, it scores! And it's 3-1 forward Madison.
Sometimes the waves are calling your name. Other times you think the waves are calling your name, but actually it's the kids. This summer, get 1,000 bonus points and a chance to win 250,000 bonus points.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Hay mucha fiesta, señor Martino. Hay gente revancha, doctor. Pero falta gol y estamos a esperar a Hugo. ¿Hugo Sánchez?
Sí, tira para adelante.
¿Quién maneja? ¿Un futbolista? ¡Súbete, llegamos por fin! ¡Ay, bendito sea el chapar, doctor! Hugo, ¿regreso a las canchas? ¿Algún consejo?
Sí, confía y cree en ti.
¡Ey! ¡Vas al norte! A donde me dé la oportunidad, pero listo para dar el paso. ¡Listo, vamos!
This is your moment.
It is halftime in League One. We hope you're enjoying the match so far. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio with a look at the headlines. With first place Union Omaha hitting a rough patch, the top of the table is now crowded. One Knoxville defeated Spokane Velocity 3-0. extending its unbeaten run to 4 matches. Now, One Knox sits 1 point behind Omaha. Charlotte, Independence, and AV Alta also closing in on the top of the table. Speaking of hot streaks, Fort Wayne FC unbeaten in its last 10 League One matches, the second longest streak by a first-year club, and Tig Healy has goals in 7 of those 10 matches, adding to his dream rookie season campaign. We mentioned Charlotte's rise in the standings. One of the biggest reasons is the play of Luis Alvarez. Alvarez has goal contributions in 7 consecutive matches, 2 shy of the League One record. 2024 Young Player of the Year is the Golden Boot leader with 9 goals. Upcoming national spotlight games next Wednesday, Spokane and Forward Madison on CBS Sports Network. A night later, it's AC Boise and One Knox on ESPN2, and then a USL Cup group finale on the 11th, San Antonio hosting Chattanooga Red Wolves. This is the USL Halftime Update. Let's get you back out to your man.
Thanks for that, Dan. Good look at all the rousing action going on around the USL League One. Also a good time to tell you that if you scan the QR code to vote for your favorite Lumberbeard co-branded can, winning can will be sold in stadium and select stores next month. Lumberbeard, your preferred craft brewery partner of USL Spokane. As for what's going on in and around the division here today, it is a busy one on this Wednesday. In the USL, the scores from around a slate of games, and that is a big bounce back for Portland, who do unto Richmond Kickers what Westchester did to them at the weekend. That game was 1-1. Portland at home at Fort Fitzpatrick, able to take that by a final tally of 5-1. And in the USL, Prince Tires USL Cup, 1-0. It belongs to Charlotte Independence over the Greenville Triumph. A big game there, as Charlotte have every intention of potentially vying for the wild card spot in the Prince Tires USL Cup. Elsewhere, AV Alta and Corpus Christi still scoreless 66 minutes in to their tie. Our second half is coming up. It kicks off when we come back to you in Washington, 1-1 at the break between Westchester and Spokane.
At Eastern Washington University, students and faculty work side by side to restore a lost prairie and decrease our carbon footprint. Composers are writing music to help us understand how salmon migrate. And urban and regional planning students partner with cities to gather the data they need to address homelessness. Interdisciplinary education that gets real about the real world. That's Eastern Washington University and you.
It's true that a Windermere agent's client decided to experiment with power washing their deck a day before the house was supposed to go on the market. It's true that he may have accidentally destroyed said deck. Now, you might wonder, how did that deck get torn out, replaced, and stained in one day, in time for the listing to go live the next morning? We'll never tell.
De vez en cuando, todos queremos soltarnos. Solo necesitamos un poco de ayuda. Conozca Un Poco de Ayuda. El Ford Bronco Sport Wild Edition 2024. Pasa por cualquier terreno para que puedas darlo todo. Obtén una gran oferta en una Bronco Sport hoy mismo. Arrienda una Bronco Sport Wild Edition por $339 al mes por 36 meses o cómpralo con 3.9 por 36 y obtén $2,000 de bono Wild.
Highlights of an eventful first half here in Spokane. Home-sided Velocity up against Westchester SC, and it popped off early. Westchester working it ahead and striking with swiftness by way of Miguel Diaz as he He latched onto this free ball at the top of the box, put it through a crowd, spilling off the hand of Sean Lewis and hitting Pater. Westchester had found themselves in the catbird seat. They could not, though, maintain that advantage through mounting pressure, and although it's all smiles now, it would not stay that way. In the 38th minute of play, it would be the breakthrough for Spokane, quilting away down this near side, served in by Derek Waldeck, held up by Nico Brett, and pounded home by Andre Lewis, who gave it a right lashing in his pursuit of that leveling goal. Got exactly that, and celebrated with aplomb. So that is where we stand as the bell tolls for the second 45. We are out to the live pictures now. Spokane Velocity and Westchester SC engaged in what is a real tussle now as both sides pursue heartily all 3 points. Once more, I am Peyton Gallagher, and this is the USL League One. And the second half strikes up in Spokane. Sun starting to set on a hot one here today in the state of Washington. The glare and the shadows certainly played some impact, particularly on the goalkeeping in the first half. Just something to stay abreast of as we make our way into the telling portion of tonight's tie. There is a change to report out of the dressing room for Westchester as Charlie Dickerson has come off, placed by a midfielder in Noah Powder. That might signal a change of shape, which is particularly interesting with Dickerson being a natural center back, that not being the case for Daniel Bauman, who's been a midfielder to this point in his career. There is a potentially meaningful free kick coming up for Spokane. Now, Velocity have been a very suitable defensive outfit defending corner kicks this year, but that's not been the case with direct free kicks and free kick delivery. Conceded a league high 3 free kick goals this year. Testing of their mettle once more. Sean Lewis defending his goal. Westchester bearing down. Ball in. Seeking that back post run. Watch the USL on ESPN2. That's on Thursday, July 2nd. The USL League One clash. Newcomer Athletic Club Boise to defend their home turf against reigning League One champion One Knoxville SC, Thursday, July 2nd at 9:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Worldwide leader bringing USL League One to the forefront. Exciting times for the division. Andre Lewis, plenty of space. An alert to none of it was Nico Brett, who had his back to goal. After the giveaway, an opportunity might be of rendering for Westchester, running into a wall in the form of Gagi was Miguel Diaz. Spokane with swagger. Their Georgian center back confiscating one as the temperature was turning up. They're applying heat to Westchester now. Reggie Alexandre lining up his man, coasting into the area, joined by Waldeck. Into the danger spot, punched away bravely by the goalkeeper Luca Marinelli. And cleared off the end line by Bobby Pierre. The end line, cut back in, dangerous chance, saved. Sean Lewis standing his ground amidst immediate fire. It was Jonathan Jimenez who looped himself free at the end line. Finish from Kyle Evans leaves something to the imagination. A player that has struggled to find the back of the net. No goal contributions for Kyle Evans in the last 8 all competitions. We'll get another crack with a corner. Ball in. It was a joust for it, as Luis Gil found himself tied up with Jonathan Jimenez. Foul is called. Noah Powder, his first real involvement since coming on, and it results in a giveaway. Luis Gil is out on the trot. Foxley found himself free of the first tackle of Bobby Pierre. Now a shot from Nico Brett. It's blocked. Still there. Woldak, thoughts of service. Now he provides a shot off the bar. Had enough time to pick his head up and pick out a corner. Just narrowly fails in filling it. The woodwork is still ringing. Would have been a wonder strike for Derek Woldak. Westchester shown a bad omen for what might happen if they can't start to establish some sort of beachhead in this game. Spokane sought out over 60% possession in the first half. They're laying higher degrees of claim now in the second one. Alexandre on the pivot. Brett reflecting wide. They are drumming on in the swing, Spokane. They have the rhythm. The goal scorer, Andre Lewis, leaving one lingering wide for Siobhan John Brown, who put some venom on the cross. Headed away by Noah Powder. And stuck back in by Gagi. It has been scant scraps to feed on for the Westchester attackers. Hardly called the names of the likes of Daniel Burko and Kyle Evans. Said one of the keys to the game would be to involve the wingbacks in the attack, but they've been pinned into their own half for the entirety of this game. Reggie Alexandre, he's got Waldeck for a dance partner, picks him out. The cutback was carving in toward the penalty spot. Would have potentially found that late arriving run creasing in from Siobhan John Brown, but Westchester able to hold firm. You just see how labored their advance is now. Unable to create those signature overloads and finding it really difficult with increasingly heavy legs. Prodded forward by Siobhan John Brown. Nico Brett beaten to the punch. Still there for Spokane. We're making an exhausting endeavor out of this for their opposition. Gagi, Andre Lewis, Simon Fitch. Contested heavily. Colin Fernandez, there is a free man and acres of space. First touch lets Reggie Alexandre down a bit. Sorts it out, sits it in. Luis Gil! Hammer shot! 2-1 Spokane. Oh, Luis Gil has hungered for that. And that is precisely what Spokane have been pushing for. And for their captain, Luis Gil, who has failed to score since March 21st. A goal that will feel like a long walk in the desert has maybe come to a close. Such shrewd movement, and although the initial provision was not to his feet because he was just camping out in a pocket of oxygen and the defender made the mistake, it was easy enough for him to insist on what would be a go-ahead goal. And Westchester have work in front of them. The outpouring of offense that pretense this match. It's just been something in their imagination. Can they find a way to get back into the game? They might do so straight away. Evans! Kyle Evans saved! Sean Lewis, thankful the shot was straight at him as Evans made a lightning bolt-shaped cut into the area and got plenty of room to pull the trigger. It's really bubbling up now. Given away. Scrambling into the space between the lines, and a foul is called. It was a tie-up, and now Colin Fernandez is pleading a case to the referee that that's twice now he's been smacked in the face with no repercussion for the action. Westchester licked their lips over a dead ball from distance, but it's possible. Little Lexi Armas, if he really fancies himself, could go for this. Sun has set, so the shadows shouldn't play a big factor here. Dipped in. Bobby Pierre settles. It's still on for Westchester. Direct bit of distribution, lands high off the head and remains in play. McGlynn gave it a pop. He saw his name up in lights, but thrashed it straight at the goalkeeper. That is much more like it, though, for Westchester. Justin keeping up with some of the accounting. Colin Fernandez given a booking for his exchange with the referee just ahead of the foul and free kick from moments ago. Fernandez flashing it downfield to no one in particular. Velocity fans, get match ready with the latest Velocity merchandise. Shop online or in the team store at the Davenport Grand Hotel in Spokane. Pressing upon the hour mark, and Westchester growing into a game they're now trailing behind in. Diaz missing out on the ball, but Westchester with a throw. Only the one change so far for Westchester, putting on Noah Powder out of the break. That's a snappy tackle from Bobby Pierre. Really enjoying his play as of late. Having a big bounce back campaign after an uneven 2025. Westchester unable to muster any meaningful attack, and it's out over the end line. Spokane, scan the QR code for your chance to win a free water heater from Raptor Rooter and Plumbing, proud plumbing partner of Spokane Velocity. I'll say this, Spokane have cleared up whatever was sitting in the pipes. Down by Diaz. That was a risky ball, but it will come off for Gagi. A clipping tackle. Bobby Pierre will flee the scene before the referee can think to maybe go to the pocket. That was only the 7th second half goal of the year for Spokane. It's Louis Heel, who has launched himself into the score sheet. Oh, that's a beautiful touch from McGlynn. Even better ball. Sparkly stuff from Westchester as they strike out. Miguel Diaz, the goal scorer. Noah Powder in the sidecar. A step over. A slide drop ball into the middle. Off the 1-2, Powder pushed away by Siobhan John Brown. McGlynn. Oh, he's just showing off now. Armas. It's hit the referee. He's forced to stop play because of that fact. Mohamed Hassan, our center today. Christian Clerk and Matthew Schwartz, the linos, and Jordan Price, the fourth official. Procedure there to restart with the drop ball, and that's precisely what's happened. Armas. Spokane sitting off a little bit more now, absorbing some of the pressure from Westchester. See if the Golden Apples might resume some of the personality that proliferated the two matches prior to this. Again, Westchester have gone 14 matches dating back to last year without winning on the road. And that is a dubious proposition at this point. In from the flank. Tapped on, unable to ever get a full chance to make something happen there. Kept in play by Max Jennings. Westchester, like a dog with a bone. There's a player ailing down behind the play. Can't get a good look at who that number is. Diaz. McGlynn, contested by his former teammate Andre Lewis. Those two played together 66 times for Hartford Athletic down the years. McGlynn and Lewis, eyeball to eyeball now on opposite sides of the line. To the best midfielders the USL League One have to offer. Bobby Pierre, Noah Powder. Powers in a cross that swoops free and clear of everybody. And it looks like Jonathan Jimenez is still struggling. Had that brace last game against Portland Hearts of Pine. Joint team leader in recoveries. Key part both with and against the ball for George Jokai, who's coached him at multiple levels through the New York City FC Academy since the age he was 10 years old. A pilfering tackle that's coming illegally on Louis Heel. And Spokane say up, and away. Siobhan John Brown shuffling for Andre Lewis, who connects the dots on the 1-2. John Brown's giving it away. McGlynn. He is the metronome. He picks up the baton and ushers wide. Marinelli. There's a slick series of passes, but in the ambitious effort to try and get it upfield, it's gone awry. And Sean Lewis will sweep up out of the back. Westchester have just really struggled to fabricate those moments in which they are overcrowding areas. Feels like they, to an increasing degree, are getting more and more spread out on the ball. The signature counter movements and free roams, less and less prevalent. They've done a lot of defending. Seems as if it might have taken something out of them. It certainly has for Jonathan Jimenez, who's still hunched over, struggling to carry on, attempting to stretch out. See how long the leash is for George Jokai before he maybe makes another change. Low ball. Here is Jimenez. He's able to get around it enough to give it a pelt. Now he's looking back over to the dugout. Never want to speculate, but he's kind of grabbing at that hip region, which would signal could be having an issue with a hip flexor. Any player who's ever played the sport of soccer knows how dire those words are. Scan now for your latest ticket deals for Spokane Velocity FC. Get a chance to come out to this really great venue. Big games coming up against FC Naples, Las Vegas Lights in the Cup. Plenty of offerings to really take in the romance of a summer of soccer. Nothing romantic about that ball, though. It's Noah Powder grabbing the wheel, hitting the gas. Infield, Alexi Armas and Powder rolling it in. And it roars by the outstretched boot of the late arriving runner, who's upset because they wanted the ball to feet. I believe that was Burko. They saying it was, no, it's a throw-in. Thought for a moment it might have been deemed a Westchester corner just by the body movements of some of those players on the field. Westchester coming back up the pitch to press this. Well, it's quilt work, but nowhere to go with it to provide the final action for Louis Heel. Over the top, down by Jimenez, who's down in the heap, advantage being played. Another shot from distance, and Cream Tall, goal kick. Colin Fernandez better be careful, flying off the handle a little bit. He's already on a yellow. Oh, he is incensed with the referee. There's no winning in this situation for him. He's not gonna make a compelling enough argument to get the better of the referee. What he says goes, and he's informing Fernandez that anything else, and it's an early shower. Lee Veidman will have to have that dancing in the back of his mind. Of course, he'll trust the veteran Colin Fernandez. Seen a thing or two down the years. A bit of a hospital ball from Sean Lewis, accessing the low-lying Andre Lewis, but has rendered some open space upfield for Spokane. He played right through the press. Stout tackle. Miguel Diaz dragged back and dispossessed in his own right. Game starting to lose all sense of space and time and structure. Doing a very loose affair. Guggy. There's a whole bundle of players coming back to the bench for Westchester, grabbing the match shirt. Might be a very different game when they enter. And it was biteless in the final ball from Waldeck. Spokane might be a little bit exposed. Westchester unable to accelerate away. Armas. Miguel Diaz. Spots Noah Powder. Armas. And Powder climbing the field and winning a corner. It will be the occasion for changes for Westchester. Colin Veltri coming on, injected into this tie for an opportunity. It's also going to be Samori Powder to join his brother, who was the first substitute of the game, Noah Powder. Herman Macic and Colin Blomstein, as all 5 changes are exhausted by Westchester at the 70th minute. Not often you see a quadruple change, especially in a close game, but there is doing to be done for the New Yorkers, and George Jokai has chosen to freshen up the squad in the fullest extent he can. Only the second appearance for Veltri. Got a brief run out against Greenville. The knock-on header, Lewis has to rise for it, and he does. Fernandez fiddling away. Always interesting to take inventory of how a game changes after a mass substitution like that. Doesn't look in the immediate sense that it will be a signaling of any tactical change. Powder will come on at wingback. It will remain that 3-4-2-1 for Westchester, at least at a glance. But having had to run and chase, and with a pretty extensive travel day to get across the country for Westchester, for a team that had fallen a little bit flat. Likely just necessary reinforcement of the squad from the stamina perspective. On the other side of things, we're going to get a red card. Hold on. This is going to come to somebody in the dugout. What's happened here? It looked like it was one of the Spokane assistants. So Mohamed Hassan, who's had to deal with a contentious environment, makes a clear statement and draws a line in the sand for somebody. Again, it looks like on the Spokane side of things. It is one of the assistant coaches. If we get any more clarity on that, we'll bring it to you. The important distinction there is that it was not Lee Viedman. And in the wake of that, Spokane will make a couple changes. It'll be Neil Vinyals and Moses Mensah who come on. Vinyals, a very technically gifted midfielder, very creative player. Mensah, a full-blooded fullback. Get up and down the line and cover the ground required. Tonight's subs are brought to you by Coeur d'Alene Casino. And the boos are hanging in the air. Win big at Spokane's favorite casino, Spokane Tribe Resort and Casino, located in Airway Heights. There's been nothing lucky about what Spokane have done here today, coming back from 1-0 down. They have put the throttle as far as it will go since that early concession. We dominated a game. They had every opportunity, given their recent struggles, to maybe hang their heads about. Again, trying to stave off a fourth consecutive defeat in the midst of their longest active losing streak as a club. Since the 5 they lost at the back end of their inaugural season, it's been 48 games. The Westchester are not done. Served in by Macic, stepped away. Glanced off the head of Siobhan John Brown, and Louis Heel will provide the finalizing touch to the clearing effort. Siobhan John Brown shifting the point, high overhead for Neji Alexandre. Maximus Jennings didn't really know where the man or the ball was, so he just nods it out, doesn't take any chances. Alexandre. Neil Vignals receiving his first touches. And it's scuttled beyond that far touch line. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access. That's on Tuesday nights. You can hear that on Sirius XM FC channel 157 and the Sirius XM app. Play proceeding in favor of Westchester as they make headway into the attacking half, and it's a short venture at that. They have had 9 shots, scoring on the first of them. Yet to force a save out of Sean Lewis to report beyond the 1 or 2. That first real mouth-watering chance, though, that they need to jumpstart a comeback effort. Just probably need to see the Spokane team actually endure some anxiety. Change the parametric pressure of the tie. Samori powder. Not sure if that was a shot or a cross, but it's hooked out. Veltri gets back on it. Now Noah Powder needling in, nudged away. Claimed in full by Spokane. Vignals. Oh, he's got chemistry with Louis Heel as they parade to the attacking half. Westchester spread all over the place as they finally get numbers back behind the ball. In the gap, Alexandre with pace. He's lost his footing, and according to the referee, it was done so on his own accord. He was moving so fast that he almost left his feet behind him, it looked like. Out of the back, Connor McGlynn. Veltri, only his second appearance for Westchester. It looked like he won a corner, but that will not be the choice of the referee. The linesman was on the far side. Wouldn't have a very clean line of sight. Referee making the call. Gaggi in his own box. They have broke the press with relative ease today, Spokane. Oh, that's a slick ball. Nico Brett. There was a tug from Bobby Pierre, but he got the defending right. eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. Sloping over the top. Ends with a thud off of Louis Seal. Unable to corral it. Feltry. There's atmosphere in the building. Spokane being encouraged to fight forward and get all-important 3 points against Westchester. Roadside today, entering today having lost 6 straight away from home. Again, winless in 14 consecutive. Lurching in for the tackle was Veltri. He's left a lump on Simon Fitch, but the referee allows Spokane to continue on. And for good reason. Andre Lewis arrowing in on goal, cut back. Brett was waiting on it. And at the last nick of time, Westchester have done enough. Herman Macic. It will require heroics if Westchester are to leave here content. Now 80 minutes nearly since they scored the go-ahead goal. Fully erased at this stage. Siobhan John Brown. Andre Lewis with all the runway in the world. Nico Brett. Took too long to stabilize it. He had the assist on the first goal. Some of the attacking efforts have left something to be desired from him today, though. Nonetheless, still working just as hard as he did in the first minute. Nearly a year on for Nico Brett from his first Spokane goal. If he was able to add another here today, it would likely be the knockout blow. June 22nd of last year when he opened his account. Sean Lewis. Alexandre was presenting the run. Spokane will just keep it in circulation. Knocked down and recovered by velocity. Nico Brett with something to chase. Ranelli happy to allow that to hop inside his sandbox. Samori Powder. Ramos is clattered into. The ball is kept, but only momentarily. Sprayed along for Nico Brett. He has put some real mileage on the pedometer today. Vinyals wedging into the area on the 1-2. Trying to slingshot his way in behind. Loma Stein missing out. Strongly won there at the back. Fitch. Really hitting the stride. Mensah. Weaving and refusing to give up the ball. Now released to Lewis, who in turn picks out Siobhan John Brown, and Fitch at the end line. It's a staggering header. Almost took Louis' heel for a ride. I don't think I've ever seen a player be headed by the ball instead of the other way around, but that's pretty much what happened here. As Heel, who did score the goal to make it 2-1, can't find the mark there. And Marky Hernandez put on for some mop-up duty. Luis Heel, that will be his final action of the game, and he'll be hoping it will be his taken opportunity and not the missed one that defines his impact. His goal again makes it 2-1. His last action of his long shift today will be to miss an opportunity to maybe make it 3. Still, his first goal since the month of March will have him heading to the dugout feeling like $1 million. Rewarding the faith of his manager to put him back in the starting 11 after not being in the commensurate group against one Knox. Still time for Westchester to save themselves. Just hung up behind Armas, who does his ever-living best to keep it on. And he's, because of that effort, won a throw. That's taken quick. Veltri not on the same page. McGlynn has the room to run ahead. And it just looked as if Samori Powder were about to start a creasing run and then stopped. That's when the ball came. Goal kick. USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network, as well as ESPN Plus. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. And so it goes. Fire is starting to die out here in Spokane. Westchester will need imagination to dream up a way to get something out of this game. They've been second best, put to the sword by Spokane. Marky Hernandez. High off the head of Siobhan John Brown. It looked for a second it might skip into space for Nico Brett. With how this one has flowed, it's likely not to be a heavy handing of stoppage time. Powder. propelling along. Samori Powder. McGlynn, he wouldn't, would he? Rolls it in. Oh, this is beautiful stuff from Westchester. Back post ball. Breezes all the way out. It will be a throw, though, instead of a goal kick. George Jokai, his group will bring the press to bear. It was head-spinning build-up as McGlynn opened up the initial avenue, and Powder was wide and clear for the cross. Just overcooked it. Gave it a little too much lift, as, speaking of lifts, that one may have touched the moon before it headed down onto the foot of Luca Marinelli. Probably deserves a little bit of credit for an excellent touch. And as we move into 2 minutes of stoppage time, it has to come now for Westchester. Bobby Pierre's lost the ball. Spokane surging into the attacking half. It's the flag down. Hernandez couldn't touch it, and he doesn't. Nico Brett, way too shallow on the cross. Now Spokane might be a little bit stretched. Cruising in towards the back, and Cameron Miller is not going to take a roll of the dice. We'll just head it out of play. Westchester will launch all the ships. Everything they can will be committed to this long throw for Alexi Armas. Catapulted in. They get the knock on. They don't get the shot. Sean Lewis sees to it. Tick, tick, tick. Not a lot left in the top half of the hourglass. Westchester scored in the 3rd minute of this game. They'll need to score in the 92nd if they are to get a point. Armas and Powder with precision. Pulsed away. Alexi Armas hurries one into the area. Unable to connect on the 1-2. This might just about do it for Spokane, who stampede into the break. It's a 4v2. Nico Brett, the ringleader, on the raid. Wide for Lewis, cut back for Brett. It's a little bit too much. The referee will allow for one last advance for Westchester. Armas at full speed. Samori Powder, only 2 bodies in the box. Powder, the Travella, headed off course. Latched on to, and that will do. Spokane searched their soul and put the sting of defeat on Westchester. They were a goal down in the first 3 minutes, but guided by the efforts of Louis Heel and company, are back amongst the wins. Spokane 2, Westchester 1. Drinking the pictures of an exhaustive effort that was worth the price of admission. Spokane speed by the New Yorkers and take a bite out of the golden apples. Final tally is 2-1, and as the bell tolls, Spokane get all 3 points. We'll do the dissection when we return. Post-game coverage coming up here in the state of Washington.
De vez en cuando, todos queremos soltarnos. Solo necesitamos un poco de ayuda. Conozca Un Poco de Ayuda. El Ford Bronco Sport Wild Edition 2024. Pasa por cualquier terreno para que puedas darlo todo. Obtén una gran oferta en una Bronco Sport hoy mismo. Arrienda una Bronco Sport Wild Edition por $339 al mes por 36 meses o cómpralo con 3.9 por 36 y obtén $2,000 de bono Wild.
At Eastern Washington University, students and faculty work side by side to restore a lost prairie and decrease our carbon footprint. Composers are writing music to help us understand how salmon migrate. And urban and regional planning students partner with cities to gather the data they need to address homelessness. Interdisciplinary education that gets real about the real world. That's Eastern Washington University and you.
They needed it. They got it. It is Spokane Velocity who take all 3 points over Westchester SC 2-1. Is the final accounting of things. Peyton Geller here, run you through all that was here in the state of Washington. The highlights at full time of a game that left everybody breathless from the outset. It started off with a loud and mighty pop off the foot of Miguel Diaz as the goal from Westchester would come. 3 minutes into the game, off a quick and direct ball in behind, would be settled in the crook of the 18, spotted up at the top of the box. A touch, a take, and it's 1-0. Sean Lewis, happy that his side picked up the slack after letting that one slip through his fingertips. Westchester, with all the wind in their sails, coming off the results that they had compiled in the last two, it looked like they wouldn't be looking back, but getting larger in the rearview mirror from that moment on would be Spokane. We found the leveler here. Andre Lewis puts a pelt into the ball, gets the goal that Spokane were thirsty for. Nico Brett sets it up 1-1 here in the first half. They were able to collect themselves heading into the break. This would be the moment, though, that Spokane would overtake Westchester, and it will be our play of the match, brought to you by Modelo, the mark of a fighter, and Louis Seal, the one who left the mark on Westchester there. You just see he relocates into that unmarked space, and after the fumbling away of the ball in the box, was there to be the battering ram and break through. Final stats at full time: 6 shots on target for Westchester. Good acquittal of themselves, but ultimately not enough to get through Sean Lewis again after the opening goal. Despite a late push, they will see their streak of wins come to a close at only 2. Spokane back in the win column after a string of defeats. As we set to step aside here for the night, playing with Westchester, unable to win the day after the early goal. It looked like it might be their time, but Spokane remind the league exactly who they are. One of the chief contenders to defend their home pitch and take this one 2-1. For our entire cast and crew, folks, I've been Peyton Gallagher. Happy trails from Spokane. We will talk to you soon.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.